Tuesday, March 10th, 2026, 5:16 p.m. And with the quorum of members present, I'll be calling the Finance Committee to order. Our first item of business is public comment on agenda items and reading of the City of Wausau public comment statement. And I do have one person that has indicated wishing to give public comment, so I will read the statement here. The City of Wausau recognizes the value of public comment on local issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express themselves on city matters. Please identify yourself by name and state your address. Each statement made by a participant should be limited to 3 minutes. Direct all comments to the chair, not to members, staff, or other participants. People addressing the council shall not disrupt the orderly course of business. The chair values civil discourse and may interrupt, terminate, or prohibit public comment that do not adhere to these rules. And we have one person indicating wishing to give public comment, and that is Deb Hoppe.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Deb Hoppe, H-O-P-P-A, and I live at 1108 Bugby Avenue, Wausau. I'd like to speak to you about the solar array. This whole project started quite a few years ago. It's not on? Oh, it's just lower.
The microphones are not very, the microphones are not very sensitive, so.
That's all right, I can't talk very loud, so.
Yeah.
The initial cost was $5,000, and we had quite a few listening sessions for the community at that time. Every session, the people were very clear they did not want this solar array. Did not. And I think we all praised God when it was turned down. When we can't afford it, first of all. We just cannot. So I was kind of upset when it reared its ugly head again last year, and the whole thing started over again. So I want you to know I went to the seat committee when it was in the committee to learn more about how big it was going to be, because obviously at 2.8 million, it was going to be considerably smaller than 5 million, I would think, unless prices came down that much. I don't know. They wouldn't answer one question for me. Oh, we can't talk about that. We can't talk about that. We can't tell you anything. I had an engineer and electrician with me, a master electrician. They had tons of questions. They couldn't answer one of them. They said they weren't allowed to. And I thought, this is in our neighborhood. Why can't you tell us what's coming? So it went on, and it just seemed like the whole program was a big secret. Nobody in my neighborhood knew about it. Nobody. So I did some more digging and found out more information about it. I still have no clue how big it is. None. I haven't been able to get that. But you know, there are a lot of people that are against. Well, first of all, the Finance Committee turned it down. They voted no on this. So how is it that it's back up and working? Now you want a loan for it. The loan payments, from what I've read, are going to be about $300,000 a year. And you're hoping to recover $121,000 in the power that it produces. So I say that's a big loss. There is no gain there at all. And I think it's going to be that way for many years to come. You're going to be running in the hole, and you're still going to be in debt, a lot of debt. That money, when this was turned down by the Finance Committee last time, it was $2.8 million, and that's the exact amount of money, pretty much, that you need to pay for the firemen. 2 years. Give you 2 years to figure out how you can do it without a referendum. And so instead, you're going to go more in debt, which the city cannot afford. And you're going to increase the taxes on your constituents. Now, this really does not seem right when you have an option sitting right in front of you and you turn it down, just like TID District 7. You had the money, spend it on something else. And if the firemen are a priority, I would think the extra money you get would go for your priority. But it's not. It's getting thrown right out the window again in a project we don't need. You know, if the city comes out ahead $121,000 a year because they save electricity, or they have that much extra money to pay for it, I think you lose again. So obviously, I don't want this. And last but not least, it's in my backyard. It's in the middle of my neighborhood. There are people complaining that they have to look at the water treatment plant in the first place. And now you're going to add solar array. The ugliness just keeps going on. So I'm going to stay for the meeting. I hope that you can convince me otherwise. But otherwise, I say this committee really stinks at their job. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anybody else wishing to give public comment this evening? Okay, not hearing anything, and we're going to move on to item number 2, consideration of the minutes of the preceding meetings, and that is February 10th, 2026, regular Finance Committee meeting.
Move to approve.
Motion from Watson, a second.
Second.
Second from Tierney. Discussion. Not hearing anything. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? And that carries. Item number 3, discussion and possible action on the following items. Point A, approving airspace obstruction removal agreement with Schofield Ridgeland Legacy LLC, 724 and 732 Ridgeland Avenue, Schofield, and related budget modification. We discussed this item at our previous Finance Committee meeting, and it was agreed upon by consensus that we wanted to know a little bit more about the financial aspect of what this would cost for the tree removals at the end of the runway. And I do believe in our packet we do have a quote from a tree service. So do we have any discussion on that? Any questions? Alder Greiner?
Thank you, Chair. This is a question from the Finance Director. So all total, roughly $17,000 for the removal and replanting of trees. Is this coming out of the airport's budget?
So we would propose we will have a profit in 2025 that we would do a budget mod to carry that over and spend, but it wouldn't come out of the airport's budget. It would come out of the general fund.
Okay.
That would be excess revenue from
Yes.
the previous
From
year.
25, yeah.
Okay. Alder Tierney?
When you say there's a profit in 2025, what is that profit from? Or
It's a combination of revenues more than we expected and expenses less than we expected. We'll be able to go over that next meeting.
Okay,
But yeah.
thank you.
Okay, I know we do have John Schmiel here, our airport manager, if anybody does have any questions specific. Alder Watson?
I guess I just had a question. I think it's just about the scope of work. So probably raspberry stems are more useful for laying down at that Ridgeland area. Is it just because of like beautification? It's the landscaping that the people wanted or they recommended?
When they went into, the original idea was that we would stump that area. And the people that gave us a quote said that probably wasn't a good idea for the terrain there because we might have some erosion issues. So it seemed like the raspberry bushes solved that problem.
So that was like the better option for landscaping kind of stuff.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Okay, Alder Tierney?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to say that I have had this service work for me in the past, and they do excellent work. Thank you.
Okay. There's no other discussion. I'll entertain a motion. Motion from Tierney, second. Second from Watson. Any other last discussion? Not hearing anything. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? And that carries. Item B, approving airspace obstruction removal agreement with Zachary Lang, 811 Ridgeland Avenue, Schofield, and related budget modification. And this is related to the first point. It's just a second property address, so it would be a second agreement. Any discussion? Alder Watson?
I'd move to approve.
Motion from Watson, second. Second from Greiner. Discussion? Not hearing anything. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? And that carries. Item C, approving residential solid waste and recycling service agreement with Harder's Fox Valley Disposal LLC. Now, we approved the use of Harder's last fall as it, and that's part of our 2026 budget. Their contract doesn't expire till the end of the month, so now this is the, I guess, the formal approval of their contract for the coming term. So if, correct me if I'm wrong there on that, Mary Ann? Yep, that's, okay. So any discussion? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion. Alder Tierney?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The agreement that we had with Harder's is for 10 years, is it not?
I believe that the existing agreement was a 10-year, but I think we elected a 7 or a 5-year. 7.
7
yeah.
year.
Okay. So is this, because Harder's is new for us, correct, or no?
No.
Okay. So this is part of the new 7-year agreement?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Alder Greiner?
Thank you, Chair. A question for the finance director. So the contract amount is $2,092,188, with an annualized increase of $573,298. Is with the 573 increase, is that from Harder's? Did they state a reason why the contract would have increased that much? Because it seems a little bit much just for standard operating cost increases.
So when we went out for bid in 2016, we got an extremely good deal. We actually saved $600,000 a year from what we were paying when we went out for bid back in 2016. And I think one of the main reasons was Harder's was entering the market and really needed a larger city to help them, I guess, kind of establish their services here in the area. So they basically bought our contract. And then that contract only had a 2% lift each year. Obviously, cost of living has been higher than 2%. So we knew going into this that we were going to see a hefty agreement. We did try to negotiate something with them. They weren't interested in negotiating. So that's where we are today.
Did any of the other companies that responded to the RFP?
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah, we
I
did
think it
have
was-
other responders.
We
Waste,
did.
Waste Management submitted a bid, and theirs was significantly more than Harder's. even
Significantly
with this.
higher as well? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Attorney Jacobson?
Mr. Chair, thank you. I just want to be clear. It is, in answer to Alder Tierney's question, it is another 10-year contract. There was some discussion at the September 23rd meeting between 7 years and 10, but the resolution then passed as a result of that meeting awarding the contract to Harder said it would be for a 10-year period. So that's the way we drafted the new lease.
I don't think that's right.
That's what the resolution says.
I believe you. I believe you that that's what it says, but Alder Watson put the motion, and I think I seconded it, and it went through finance as a 7-year. I don't remember council ever changing that to 10-year. Do you, Alder Watson? I didn't think so.
Yeah, I don't recall.
I'm with you, Attorney Jacobson. I thought it was 10 years too, but
Yeah, we relied on the minutes and the resolution. I do not have the council minutes with me, though, from September 23rd of '25. That might be, are you looking that up, Mary Ann, or no?
No.
Oh, okay. That's fine. Oh, Alder Greiner is, okay.
I know I had initially proposed a 10 because generally speaking, costs do escalate higher than CPI, which is what the inflator that's in the contract today. So I thought it still was a good deal to get locked in for a longer period of time. I think, there was discussion about, well, the way we pick up garbage could change over that 10-year period, and we would want to be poised to make changes if we need spaceships or something.
I think too, not only technology, but also like you never know if our usage is going to change. Like I had a constituent who emailed me with a really good suggestion that like maybe we should look at our use and is the once a week pickup and the once every other week for recycling what we need. Maybe it's something different. So I mean that's sort of why I wanted a little shorter of a term. I thought it was 7 as well. So.
Yeah, I don't recall if it was 7 or 10. The contract we got before us did say 10.
Can you see it, Cody? Oh. Or the minutes?
The minutes.
Oh,
We got a copy of the September resolution in our finance packet,
right.
but,
It was written.
yeah. This resolution doesn't specify a term on it, though.
Oh wait, no, that's
No, it doesn't.
that's the second time, right?
Yeah, just the fiscal impact, annualized increase, and then whereas.
Did Public Health and Safety recommend a 10-year? Because that's in the whereas, the fourth whereas.
Oh, yeah.
Hereby authorized and directed to draft and finalize for later approval by the Common Council an agreement between the City of Wausau and Harders Fox Valley Disposal for waste, refuse, and recycling collection services. There's no term on here. I don't know.
Maybe that was a Public Health and Safety meeting, Alder McElhaney. Because you're on Public Health and Safety, yeah. I think that's where we discussed 7.
Look on the website, I don't actually know how to look anymore. If it's not Laserfish. Because didn't you guys load all the minutes into Civic Plus now? I don't know. Well, try finance first.
Pardon, also when you go to your government page under committees and commissions, finance is also not listed there. Just a heads up.
What's the date on that resolution?
The date on the resolution is
thought it was sometime this summer.
Said, what,
Oh, September?
September 23rd?
The minutes from the September 23rd meeting are not posted on the website.
Okay.
The agenda and the packet are, but not the meeting minutes. Is it September 23rd, 2025, correct? It's not, no.
So it would have had to have been 2 weeks prior to that, which would probably, what, be September 9th, September 10th? I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to be without garbage collection.
For sure.
So, moving this till the next meeting, I don't think would be that wise of an idea.
Right. Yeah, we're right up to that.
Yeah,
We,
yeah.
I agree, but I
It's
think we
not
need to
going to
find out
council
what was
tonight. It was going
approved.
to go to council March 24th.
March
So we could
24th.
definitely verify,
So we could
The date,
verify the term?
yeah.
How are you going to do that when we don't have the meeting minutes?
We can watch the tape.
Alder Watson?
So would you then, like, could we approve it barring the, I mean, like, with the condition that the term recommendation is checked out before the council meeting? And then, I mean, but would that require some renegotiation of the contract then? Oh, he got it.
Well, the term in the contract is listed for 10 years, so if there's that may cause an issue if they
Yeah.
have to go back and renegotiate after if we wait till the 24th.
Oh, I don't know that it actually did. But public health and safety, motion by Watson, second by Lukens, to recommend contract development with Harders Fox Valley Disposal for a 7-year commitment. Motion carried 4-0. That's the minutes from the September 15th Public Health and Safety meeting.
Okay.
However, that's
Attorney
not what the
Jacobson, go ahead.
contract states.
And then what happened at council? Do we know?
No, that's the meetings they
Well,
can't find.
That was from public health
The
and safety.
resolution doesn't say how many.
Yeah, it said 10.
There's no term on the resolution.
It's in the body.
Open these.
I
You
bet
are
you-
correct. 10-year
So as not to
contract.
hold you up, though, why
Yeah.
don't you recommend approval of it to the council contingent upon verification of the minutes and the action of the council in approving a term?
My problem is that the contract before us is 10 years. If it's supposed to be 7, would that have to be renegotiated?
It's going to be whatever the council passed. I think we just have to go back and verify.
But if the
But then
council
you're-
passed a 10-year term, then it's a 10-year term.
Right.
Or it could be a Scribner's error of, right, 'cause, okay, so I'm trying to get into the packet for public health and safety from September 15th to see if the resolution like was already prepared and it just didn't get updated. There wasn't a resolution. Let's see, resolution in the packet. Got a lot of stuff in that September 15th packet.
Just to let you know, Alder Tierney, it has in here,
The old contract.
there was contract pricing that was presented for both 7 and 10 years. So it wouldn't need to be renegotiated at all.
Right.
Just as long as we're all signing the right one.
Yeah.
Right.
I
So-
believe Harder's thinks it's a 7-year contract as well, because they asked, well, why didn't you guys select 10? And I said, because you didn't incentivize us to select 10. The quotes, the pricing was identical. Previously, the first year that this went out for RFP, we were incentivized to select a lower or a longer contract because we received some pricing discounts. So they're expecting they were at one point expecting a 7-year contract when this first went through.
Alder Watson?
So, Mr. Chair, could I pass this contract contingent upon like finding out what the contract length determination was in council? Is that how?
Yes, I think you could.
Yeah.
You'll all get to vote on it again as council, and I think we have this on for the 24th, right, Mary Ann?
yes.
Yes, so you've got time to verify it between now and
So
then.
contingent on, so this would, a motion contingent on
Confirm.
verification of the term selected at the council meeting.
Yes.
All right. If that's the motion you wish to make.
That would be the motion I wish to make.
Okay. Is there a second? A second from Tierney. Discussion? All right. The motion is made and seconded to pass the contract for Harder's contingent upon verification of what the term is from I believe it was the September 23rd, 2025 council meeting. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That carries. All right, thank you. Item D, a budget amendment for the Wausau Police Department to use the proceeds of the sale of a Thompson submachine gun to purchase red dot optics. And we have the police chief here. I'm sure this is to fill us in on kind of the details of this interesting story. There
yeah.
is,
Goes back to 2016.
Yeah.
In the course of our new packets and agendas, the actual source document didn't get included in the packet. Got emailed to everyone but you, but I just emailed it to you here a couple seconds ago.
we got some paper copies floating here if anybody needs a paper copy too.
So just a little history for those of you that weren't around in 2016. The police department for generations had a very expensive piece of firearm artwork hanging in their armory, locked in there. It was a Thompson submachine gun. That and some parts were valued to a private collector at $35,000. It was not a popular decision with officers that are like, it's cool, we have a Thompson submachine gun at work. And I'm like, that you will never be allowed to shoot because it's a $35,000 gun. So the decision was made to sell that firearm because we wanted to make improvements, including our shooting range, at our current shooting range. The plan was to take the $35,000, which in the original resolution from 2016, it specifies that these funds can only be used for improvement on the range. The range is in the town of Maine on 3M property that they allow us to use for free. I don't know that all the municipalities have always worked really well together, and so the challenge is it's zoned mining, and the town of Maine refused to let us do any improvements on that property. And 3M is like, you're welcome to use it, but they didn't give us a timeline on how long we would be able to use that for. Now, it's been used 70, 80 years for the Wausau Police Department. It meets our needs right now, but it's a 70 or 80-year-old range. And recognizing that over the last decade, we have done, the ideal state is for the City of Wausau Police Department to own a shooting range that's on city-owned property, so we have control over it. And for the future, we've done capital improvement requests, and that hasn't been able to be met for good reason. It shouldn't have been a priority as we were asking to do that. So someday that may need to happen. That $35,000 has been sitting in our account, and that's the history of how we ended up with $35,000. Currently, we've recognized a need for our shooting, and it's just keeping up with technology. As you'll see in my memo, I'm at a meeting at North Central Technical College with all the instructors, and that's where we send our recruits to learn how to shoot. And they're explaining to me that all new recruits are going to be trained on a red dot optic, as opposed to the sights that Lieutenant Phillips and I were taught to shoot originally. And I said, well, why are you going to do that with the expense? And their answer was, we see a 30% improvement in the ability for people to shoot accurately. And I know there's people on TV that are like, why don't you shoot the knife out of their hand? I will tell you that as the lead tactical instructor that Lieutenant Phillips is, it is a challenge for him to get 81 people to qualify with a handgun every year and to meet the state requirements. So knowing that, we will get better shooters, that reduces liability for us. It makes it easier on instructors. It's easier to shoot the firearm. And all new officers are coming in trained with new technology. For us to take them backwards and have to teach them how to not use that doesn't make sense for us. Currently, we have about 10 or so officers that we allow to have red dot optics on their handgun. They've purchased them themselves. They speak very highly of it. So I think the time has come that we move our department to this new optic, which we get better shooters as a result of that, and that's something that's difficult for us to get. The budget amendment would be to allow that $35,000 to be used for these optics, basically nullifying the 2016 resolution, which said it had to be used for firearm range improvements. And then lastly, there's a sole source accompanying it where a significant amount of work went into identifying what is the best product. The one that we selected met all of our criteria, and it was the least expensive of the options that exist. So that is our request for that sole source to be approved. The $35,000 does not cover the entire cost, but we will be making up the difference from within our firearms budget.
Okay, any questions? We do have two items here. So the first one is we'll be considering the budget amendment of reassigning that money from from the shooting range to purchase of these optics. So any questions on the amendment? Alder Watson.
Thank you. So the 35,000 was sort of geared towards like improving the shooting range, which you can't really do in Maine, right?
Correct.
But you have been doing like CIP requests for a while on trying to get a new shooting range, right? Or no?
Right. So sometime after 2016, we took city-owned property out in the industrial park and built our long-term storage facility out there for evidence. There is enough space there to build a shooting range.
But it would obviously take way more than 35 Gs.
Way more. I think our intention from the start with the 35,000 in our current range was to build an insulated and heated garage that could serve as a classroom there and meet the needs of our staff.
Because I guess I just wonder if it would be helpful to still have that if that is ever a goal, but that's not a goal for in the next 5 years or so.
I don't think it's reasonable to think it's the next 5 years, and in the context of the priorities that this council will have to set, as I talk to, I don't know anything about building a shooting range, but as I talk to other police chiefs who have added shooting ranges to their facilities within the last 5 years, it's in the millions of dollars that they spend to have that facility. So $35,000 is not chump change. I'm not pretending that it is, but it's not going to move the needle enough in a new facility that it's going to be the difference between moving forward or not.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Alder Greiner?
Thank you, Chair. I guess this question would be for Attorney Jacobson. So given the fact that the original resolution stated that the money would have to be used for the shooting range, if we reappropriate this for these optics, is that going to create any sort of an issue?
I would just recommend that you include in your motion that you're now 9 years later intending to recommend to use it for a different purpose. Then that'll be reflected in the motion in the second and the recommendation that goes to council, and that will guide us in drafting the resolution. And then in the resolution, I would reference the old one and say that it's being rescinded and we are now moving to repurpose this money for this purpose.
And that would alleviate any liability associated with doing that.
If we rescind the
Rescind the former
previous resolution, I think that's the safest course. So I would include that in a motion.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion. Alder Tierney? Make a motion to rescind the previous motion on the use of the $35,000 and to amend the budget for the, okay. Second?
I'll second that.
Second from Alder Greiner. Discussion? Not hearing anything. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that carries. All right.
Thank you.
And then point E, approving sole source request for the purchase of the Vortex Defender ST red dot sights for the Wausau Police Department. So this would be the sole source request for the equipment themselves. Alder Watson?
So, thank you, Chair. Just to double check, so the expected amount of purchase is 47,000, so that would just mean like an extra 12 from the firearms budget.
Correct.
Okay, because the 47 isn't on top of the 35.
Yeah.
It's not like it costs 82,000 or
The
anything.
total is 47.
47, okay. So then it would be a little less out of your firearms budget, which
Correct.
is healthy. I mean, you have enough
Well,
money in there
I
for
cut
that.
it significantly this year, but we can make it work.
Okay, so you got enough in there.
I think the heavy lift is outfitting all of the existing firearms with this optic. And then as you move forward, as new officers come on board, then it's just like onesies, twosies, isn't it?
Well, we have a set, it's not even that. Like, we own a certain amount of handguns, and they will be outfitted with these optics. And if somebody comes or goes, like, we replace handguns when people retire. But that would, so maybe one at a time, but these optics aren't necessarily part of that.
Okay. Alder Watson?
So maybe a silly question, but what's the life expectancy of these? Like, I guess just when will we be buying new ones?
I brought an expert for that purpose because I have no idea.
Okay.
This is Lieutenant John Phillips. He's responsible for all things tactical at the police department.
Nice.
All things tactical. Good afternoon.
They do have a lifetime warranty on them. They're not going to last forever. Just to give you an example, we went to optics on our rifles. That was probably 10, 12 years ago. We are still using those, and they are still in good working order. They have a similar lifetime warranty, and we've had to send maybe a handful in, and that manufacturer replaces the parts. And if they cannot, they will replace the optic in its entirety, which I would be fully confident that this manufacturer would do the same thing.
Okay. Any other questions? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion. Alder Greiner?
My apologies. I move to approve the sole source request for the purchase of Vortex Defender ST red dot sights for the Wausau Police Department.
All right, is there a second? Second from Watson. Discussion? Not hearing anything. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? And that carries. Thank you. Item F, approving sole source request for the purchase of striker cots for the Wausau Fire Department. And I know for the long time, we've always had striker cots in our med units, so I'm a little surprised that we need to replace a couple of them. But we do have the fire chief here if anybody has any questions on this. So, that's it. Alder Tierney, did you have a question? Or?
If you wouldn't mind, Chief? Thank you. How many cots need to be replaced?
So you are right. We always did use Stryker. In 2025, with the purchase of our 2 new ambulances, we chose a different vendor and we went with a different cot. And what we're looking to do is replace those because they didn't work out the way we were expecting them to. And they're actually a liability, and we want to go back to Stryker where we were to begin with. And that's what's in front of you right now, is those 2 new ambulances have a different cot system. And we want to go back and trying to find that money. We looking for the difference. We negotiated quite heavily with the company and got some real good kickbacks and refunds. And we're looking to use the extra money out of the funding assistance program, which is a state funding program for EMS services. That money goes into an account for us, and it can only be used for things like EMS equipment and EMS training.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Alder Greiner?
Yeah, is the total cost for this, the 57,000, is all of that coming out of that fund, or is any of this coming out of the budget?
No, it'll all come out of FAP.
All out of the
Alder McElhaney?
If we didn't, what else does that fund can be used for, the fund that you're getting? What else could we use that for?
So typically we use it to send people to training like WEMSA or other equipment and that sort of thing. So we can use it for almost anything that is EMS related. There are guidelines, and we look at those every year. The one thing about the FAP money is it significantly went up. Our portion of what we got from the state the last 2 years went up significantly compared to what we've been used to. So we actually have quite a bit of money in that account right now.
Question about getting the other, what was the decision matrix in changing from Stryker?
Well, we used Furno for a lot of different things, such as stair chairs and that sort of thing, and we still do, and they were a great company and had all those things. And when the new cot system came out, it was comparable to Stryker, and it was supposed to be better, and it did all these different things. There's a lot of moving parts, and once we went to it, we found out pretty quickly through our committees and through the feedback from our paramedics that it's just not user-friendly, and I think we just unfortunately went down the wrong road when we made the decision to change, and we learned a valuable lesson.
So that's the only 2 we have?
Yes.
Okay.
There was a third one coming, but we already changed that.
Okay, we didn't pay for that one.
No.
Perfect.
Okay, any other questions? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion. Alder Greiner?
I move to approve the sole source request for the purchase of striker cots for the Wausau Fire Department.
Second? Alder Tierney? Any discussion? Not hearing anything. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that carries. Thanks.
Thank you.
Item G, approving sole source request for the purchase of services to complete the site investigation for the Thomas Street Corridor Area A, BRRTS number 02-37-98599 by REI Engineering for the Wausau Department of Public Works. And get back to we do have some information here in our packet. The proposal from REI for and this would be the parcels on Thomas Street, along Thomas Street, abutting up to, I think it's River Street, so on the north side of Thomas Street. Any questions on that? Alder Tierney?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Why are we not considering anybody besides REI? This would be my question, because there's obviously other businesses out there that do the same thing.
Yeah, so in the sole source,
what the justification, one was that they do have a unique knowledge because they did the rail corridor remediation and investigation for us too, which is in that immediate area. They, the other reason that we didn't do an RFP was the tight timeline for the DNR regulations, and REI is also local, so for costs and reasonableness for meeting attendance and things like that. Yeah.
But what about Ramble, who went and did all this testing? Do they do this type of?
They do. Yeah.
Okay, because they know this site. They've gone in there. They've done the testing. They know what the problem is. Why didn't we get a proposal from them as well? Since
One
they
is
had already
because they
started it.
didn't really have a lot of history with dioxins. REI did have the history with dioxins for the rail corridor. Ramble was very expensive. Just to do their phase 2 was $100,000. And plus they're not local either, for attending meetings and being here. So staff's perspective is a local vendor with experience in the immediate area was the best option and our recommendation. So.
Yeah, I'm not really worried about proximity for meetings because we do meetings all the time with people that are in Milwaukee or what have you.
Sure.
I mean, CPI, for example.
But they still have to come up here, right? They have to commute to get up here to actually do the investigations and the reporting and everything, so.
And they
yeah.
did that before, so I was just wondering why.
At a higher expense,
Okay.
yeah. So,
Okay.
and to do a phase 2 and a phase 1 for $100,000, or better than $100,000 is pretty expensive.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else? Alder Greiner?
Thank you, Chair. This is my requisite question as always. So it's $31,000 for this. So Director Grote, is this coming out of the general fund, or do we have any designated outside funding sources for this, grants, anything else?
So no one has actually talked to me about this. I would guess that there might be a couple of fundings. Are we doing this for community development?
Say again?
Is this being done for community development for their housing projects or not?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it could come out of the allocations that we gave CDA for, out of ARPA. That would be one source. And Randy's shaking his head yes, like that's where he's
Be
saying
the
it's gonna.
allocations for affordable housing?
Yes.
Or, okay. That would be part of the process if we were to remediate and redevelop those parcels. Any other questions? Entertain a motion? Alder Watson?
Okay. I move to approve the sole source request for the purchase of services to complete the site investigation for the Thomas Street corridor area by REI.
Okay, second? Second from McElhaney. Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that carries. All right, thanks. Item H, approving renewal of parking lot lease with Colonial Property 4 LLC, Grant and 3rd Streets. And I believe that is the little bitty parking lot over next to Downtown Grocery. Am I
Yes.
correct? Yes. So,
Actually, I think it's the parking lot next to the chocolate shop.
Oh,
It's
okay.
the bigger one.
On the other
here,
side of
that-
the street.
Yeah.
Okay.
Across from the Y.
okay, but next, we got the attorney here with,
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And you'll see in your packet, all we have is the email addressed to our legal assistant from the owner of the parking lot requesting another 3-year renewal beginning April 1st of this year for a 4% increase to rent. And I don't know, we forwarded it to Mary Ann. I don't know if she has any opinion or recommendation on that, but that's the owner's request.
okay. I would think that 4% would seem reasonable considering the costs involved, so. Any discussion? Alder Watson?
Just a quick question. It's 4% increase each year or just?
No, for the next 3-year
Oh,
term.
for the next 3 years?
I don't know how that compares to other lots we lease, though.
Because do we usually have it adjust every year, or is it just usually adjusting the price once a contract period?
Say that again?
Does it usually adjust every year when we rent something, or is it like usually just in this contract period, the whole amount increases?
Mary Ann, do you know with all our
I-
parking lot
No,
leases?
I
Okay.
don't know. In addition to the 4%, though, we reimburse them for taxes too, right? So any increase in their taxes, they,
Yeah, we will pay the entire tax bill for the lot, and we plow it as well.
Any other questions? Not hearing anything, I'll entertain a motion.
Actually, I have one more question.
more question?
I'm sorry. My apologies. I was actually looking this up. Do any city staff use that lot? Because the majority of the time that's used for YMCA parking, correct?
right, there's a combination of the pay station parking, parking leases, and the phone app that people can park. There are no city employees that are currently using that lot.
Okay.
I think it's marked as a city, it is marked as a city lot.
Right,
and-
but it's public parking.
Well, yeah, public parking, so, through the pay station. I think if you were going to the Y, you could use that lot, but you would have to pay or get your first 2 hours free. If you can do it in 2 hours. So,
We also split the costs of any repairs or maintenance to fixtures or equipment such as parking meters, of course there aren't meters there now, asphalt surface, and the grass, according to paragraph 4. So we are, as the lessee, supposed to keep the parking lot in first-class condition, it says.
So there's not metered parking there currently?
Well, it's a pay station, so it's like.
Or
metered
the
parking.
pay
That's
station,
just
so
one
yes, it
thing.
is.
Right.
It is metered, okay.
it's just you get 2 hours free at the pay station. Yes. Alder Watson?
I would move to approve the parking lot lease with Colonial Property 4 LLC.
Okay, a second? Second from Greiner?
And just to clarify, for 3 years at 4% increase for the term?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. And any discussion on that? Not hearing anything. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And that carries. Thank you. Item H, approving renewal of we just did that one. Item I, approving a proposal from Clark Dietz, Inc. to perform engineering professional services for the solar array project. We had this come to the committee back in December as a sole source, and the committee decided they did not want to sole source it, but go out to bid. So, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Lindman, this would be the bid response
That is correct, the
Okay.
proposals that we received.
from the
Yes.
proposal you received,
Yeah.
so. Any questions, discussion? Alder Greiner?
Thank you, Chair. So, in regards to the solar array, council initially voted to approve funding on this with a contingency that the grant that we applied for, if it would be approved, would be able to allocate this money. Have we heard anything back about the grant that we applied for? So it was supposed to be later, correct?
Yeah, in May.
April
That's
or
what
May.
the EPA has stated. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Alder Watson, did you have your hand up, or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
I thought I saw you in the corner of my eye.
Yeah. So I think to address some of the, can you just remind me of the process? Because I went to one of the fun meetings at NTC. It was pretty cool
Yeah.
for the solar array.
Yeah.
And I went on to the website after some public comment we had, and I found the Solar Power Initiatives page that, in my opinion, seems pretty, it has a lot of nice FAQs on it. It has the analysis that sort of does all the different options that the community discussed,
Yes.
right? Because it was
Yeah.
sort of a merger of a lot of different citizens from that neighborhood, right?
It was, yes.
Yeah, plus I know one of the, I don't know if it's the chair of the neighborhood group, was serving on that as well.
Yes.
Like one of the,
Yeah.
Paul Svetlik, I
Yes.
remember he was on there.
Correct.
But it looks like there were 4 scenarios that were sort of discussed and debated by the community and by that committee, right?
Yes.
And then the scenario 1 alt was chosen as, and there's a map in this packet that sort of shows you where it's going to be and all that fun
Correct.
stuff, right?
Yeah.
So that's why it's 2.5 million instead of the regular, like the first scenario was 4. And
Yeah,
then the
right.
scenario 3 was like 8.5.
Correct.
And then this one was just a little bit smaller at 2.5
Yes.
with how many panels, I think. I don't know if it says. how many
Yeah, the
panels.
power generation that we're looking at. And so, the discussion on this dates back to when we were doing the planning for the new water treatment facility, right? And it was really initially with the public information meetings we had throughout the city for the new water treatment plant and the location of it. And it was always discussed to have some sort of alternative energy with that, right? It was the water treatment facility moved forward, and then this kind of came along afterwards. And so, because there was a concern about the rates at that time and getting the facility up and running. So, when we brought this back, initially, it was proposed a few years ago to have the water utility do this as a project. With the rate increases, then it was shifted over to having the city itself pay for it and not on revenue rates. And so when that happened, we developed the solar array task force, which met for a little over a year and discussed. We had multiple public information meetings, with the neighborhood as well as just in general in the public. There were some people in the neighborhood that were opposed to this, both the larger and even the smaller, right? And so we tried to take into account all of those comments that we received throughout that year and a half, and came up, as you said, with several different scenarios on those. And so it came up not only with the scenario, the size of the array, but also with potential landscaping, things like that the neighborhood wanted to see. And so that's what moved forward, and that's what we developed our capital project for 2026 for this year. And then that went through the budgeting process and was approved by the finance committee, and then moved on and approved by the city council. Yeah, for the budget of 2.8 million. Yeah.
Thank you. And I think this one packet that I just have up on the screen right now is very valuable, I think, and informational. It tells you installation costs, installed costs, like energy back, how long it would take to pay for it.
Correct.
So I think this is a really awesome document that folks can find on the website. Just type in solar power Wausau, and that comes up,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So.
What's proposed in the capital budget with this is what came out of the solar array task force, right? And that's what's been approved for the budget, yes. Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?
Can I say anything as far as?
Yeah, Alder,
For the Sustainability Committee?
yeah, come on up.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I just wanted to comment as the alder for the Sustainability Committee. We have had citizens come to the meeting and comment both ways, for and against. And I just want to clarify so nothing is mistaken that, when we have had citizens come because it's not on the agenda, we cannot respond to public comments, as you all know. And so just wanted to make it very clear that there was no kind of lack of transparency, intent, or anything like that if it's not on the agenda. Per open meeting laws. We cannot respond to citizens, but we have had, the Sustainability Committee is definitely, has really looked at this a lot, has talked about it a lot with the greenhouse gas resolution, that was passed. All of that, they are very much in favor of this and hoping that it will be passed. But I just wanted to comment to clarify so that nothing, there's nothing mistaken. Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion? Alder Greiner?
Thank you, Chair. So I have a question for Director Lindman. When all is said and done with so we're looking at $2.8 million initially for the facility, which would provide roughly 75% of the power needs for the power plant moving forward, according to the documents. Is this correct?
Yeah, I think on our
Ideal
average usage.
circumstances,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
The grant that we applied for, can you refresh my memory? Was that for $1 million?
Yeah, just over, I think it was like 1.1.
1.1 million.
Yeah.
So if we are awarded the grant, and if we do complete the project on time, we're still eligible for the $700,000 tax rebate, correct? Or the tax
We are.
incentive.
I know we're eligible for the 30%. We will have to apply and get approved for the additional, 10 and 10%, so potentially up to 50%. But
The 50%. So when this is all said and done, out the door, we're looking at just over $1 million that would be coming out of the city's budget to pay for this. Do we have an idea of the actual amount after we get all our benefits of what this is going to cost us?
we did run some scenarios. I don't have those in front of me right now, like with the 30% rebate plus the $1 million and stuff, and that I think was on that sheet that Sarah was looking at, with the different scenarios. So no, I couldn't tell you exactly, like, if we took 30% off of the 2.8 million and then had another 1.1 million come off of that,
Okay.
So, and then I also don't know if the tax rebates would be the amount, the total amount of the project, or the amount minus the grant, right? Like, I'm not quite sure. I don't have clarification on that yet. So if we got $1 million grant and so our total project for the city was 1.8 versus 2.8, would that 30%, would it be on the 1.8 or 2.8? I don't have clarity on that yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be the first to say that I'm all for sustainable energy, especially if we can use it to drive our costs down. But it'd be really nice to see what our final cost would be before we agree to move forward with this. And I know it's difficult to do that with the information we have.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's budgeted. That's really up to, this committee and how you want to move forward, if you want to wait, and see if we hear something in May, if you want to move this forward. Because as I said before, like that we're going to be moving forward now with not knowing, like you're talking about. So we're going to be moving forward with a couple $100,000 worth of design and engineering costs, right?
It might not go anywhere if we don't
we may
choose
not,
to do anything.
we may not get that grant and,
Because,
So-
$1 million at $100,000 a year as a conservative estimate for the savings that we would get for the solar panels would pay itself off in 10 years, and the panels will last longer than that, we know.
25 to 30 years,
25
yes.
to 30 years, so we would pay for them in 10 years.
Yeah.
However, $1 million versus $2.8 million is drastically different.
Good, that's correct, yes.
So I would be in favor of moving forward once we determine what we have been awarded and how much we would be looking at as the out-the-door cost for the city then, so.
Good.
Yeah, if we don't move forward now, wouldn't if we don't have one of the problems with the grant is in order to get that grant, don't we need to have substantial construction by July?
That was for some of the other requirements. We needed to start a certain percentage of construction by July 4th, right?
Okay.
So being as we're not going to meet that timeline, the tax credits are still going to be in place.
Okay.
We're going to have a shorter construction timeline. We have to be done with our construction. It has to be up and running before the end of '27.
Okay.
And there's a couple more items as far as products, right? So American-based purchase products. There's a few more restrictions that way that we have to follow.
So we would be, we'd miss some of the incentives by waiting, but we can still recoup enough that it's still, in the long run, we are having, there's a certain amount of financial sense to this.
Yeah, and I would say we're not going to lose any of the financial incentives. All of those are going to remain in place as of what we know right now. It's really just a shorter timeline and then some further restrictions on the materials we can purchase.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Alder Watson?
Yeah. So could we postpone this until like our May meeting or the end of May meeting,
We could, yeah.
and it wouldn't totally derail our potential of
No,
earning
and
these
I would say that I'll kind of keep a pulse on what's going on. And, if we start seeing issues with products or anything like that, that I may bring it back sooner. But yeah, I mean, I don't feel at this point, since we're not going to make that July 4th and the tax incentives are still there, that, I still think that I'll work with Clerk Dietz and let him know that you wanted to hold off until maybe we had a better picture of the financials. That's fine. Yeah.
I'd really like to see this project move ahead, because this is one of the ways in which we can stabilize water rates. I know it's with the payback is anywhere between 10 and I think 17, 18 years.
Correct, yeah.
Depending on, but still with a 25 to 30 year life expectancy, panels made today are still 80% viable after 25 years. So we can get at least 30 years out of those panels. So.
And also, I thought too, from some of the lectures, like eventually we maybe could store electricity, like the overgeneration. I mean, there's new technology that's becoming cheaper as time goes on,
Yeah.
with like the battery banks
It's
and stuff
evolving.
like. Yeah.
Yes.
So I mean, we could always amplify that over time, but in the document it said 19.3 years
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
our
Yeah, yeah. So I think the other thing, there's a couple other things that go along with this, right? Like the property has to be rezoned, in order to put this there to meet our ordinances. So we've been kind of waiting on the approvals to move forward and do that kind of simultaneously. So that I think we'll strategize that, so we can get all of the public hearing and everything done for that and in the interim. So, okay.
We're kind of pushing up against the council, and I know we got to get these other 3 items taken care of. Is there a consensus that we should hold on to this until?
I make a motion that we table this until July.
July?
Well, that's when we would know about the
I'm
grant.
supposed to know in May.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe bring it back
In June?
once I hear from the EPA.
I will,
Okay.
I make a motion that we table this until we hear back on that grant information.
Okay.
From the EPA.
The
Okay.
EPA.
Second.
Second from Greiner, discussion?
And just a procedural thing, I'm going to make that as a motion to postpone, because a motion to table would table it indefinitely.
Okay, yes, motion to postpone.
Motion to, okay, so, all right. We're good on that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed?
All right.
All right, and then we'll
Thanks.
just postpone that. Thank you, Eric. Item J, approving paid duty time for out-of-country training for a Wausau Police Department officer. We had this come up into our HR meeting yesterday, and we have the police chief here if anybody has any questions. Basically, we have a lieutenant that wishes to be take part of an exchange program. He'll pay his own way, but wishes to be paid duty time while he's learning. So, Alder Watson?
Can you just do like a 2-second recap of what HR discussed?
Basically, It just flew right through. We approved it unanimously. So Alderman McElhaney, I don't know if you have anything to add.
I'll let the chief if he needs to, but it comes to council, any type of instruction or training that's outside the country has to be approved by council. And this is an opportunity to go to Germany. He is paying his way, his room and board, all of that, correct? And we're just paying him his normal wages while he's there. And it's an opportunity that we did not pass up on.
I'll entertain a motion. Alder Watson?
I'd move to approve paid duty time for our out-of-country training for our Wausau PD officer.
Okay, a second. Second from Tierney. Discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That carries. Okay. Item K, approving community outreach professional shelter operations duty premium differential. This was also discussed at our HR meeting yesterday. This had a little bit more discussion than the previous item did. Basically, the HR director analyzed the workload and responsibilities that our community outreach professional has performed over the last year in managing the shelter, and has assessed that a $5.20 pay differential would be appropriate for the extra workload that the individual has performed in the last year. So fiscal impact, 2,080 hours at $5.20 an hour, I believe, was 11,400 and change. Yeah. So about $11,000. I think it's the actual amount is in our packet. So any discussion? Alder Watson?
And so this would go forward through until the shelter's closed? Or
No.
it's just a one-time lump sum payment?
It's anticipated that the new shelter would be, I guess, starting late April.
Yeah, we
So-
began May 1st, 2025. Our tentative date to close is April 19th, 2026. So it's like 11 days short of a year. A normal 40-hour week work year is 2,080 hours, and that's where the 2,080 figure came from.
Gotcha. And it
We're
won't
only
be,
paying for 2,080 hours.
Okay,
The
and-
differential for 2,080 hours.
okay. And then it won't be a permanent change?
No. No.
Okay.
I think in my conversation with Mary Ann that we'll be using ARPA funds to cover that cost. Shelter ARPA funds.
I'd move to approve the community outreach professional shelter operation premium differential.
Okay, second. Second from McElhaney. Discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? And that carries. Item L, approving contract with Cooney Architects LLC for Wausau Area Transit Feasibility Study. The information is in our packet on that also. I think a feasibility study is important for assessing, the direction that our transit department is needing to go in, especially with the age of the current building and changing technologies in transit buses. So, Alder Watson.
So it's going to be about 47.2, I'm thinking, right?
I believe so.
And then
Was
where is it going to come from?
was it coming from a federal grant?
Yeah, so the lion's share of it, I think 80% is coming from a federal grant. The local share would come from the transit fund. The 25 budget allocated $1.1 million for transit operations, and we utilized about $1,054,000. So we've got about a $50,000 available levy from 2025. So we would use those funds.
Okay. Discussion? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion.
I'd move to approve the CUNY architects for the transit feasibility study.
All right, second. Second from McElhaney. Motion by Watson, second by McElhaney for the transit study. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that carries. Item number 4, adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
Watson, second from Greiner. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.